always do bim bam like that. Can't we do it silly?
That's a good idea.
Okay, hit it.
Shalom Aleichem Malachei Asharim Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Bochem LeShalom Malachei Ashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shalom Aleichem Shalom Aleichem Bachun LeShalom Malachei Ashalom Malachei Elyon Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Seitchem LeShalom Malachei Ashalom Malachei Elyon Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shalom Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Stand up now and be recognized for all that you've done. Get up now, Yisrael, the Lord God is one. It's easier not to do all that God has asked, but you're who you are, and by that grace you're up for the task. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Everywhere I look around, people want to change. The spread of faith with different paints and in the wider range. There's no joy in the crowd, why can't we be just like the rest? To them I say there's joy in who you are. So stand up now and say Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. So be like Abraham and shake the hand of everyone you meet. But don't forget who you are, people so unique. Hashem revealed himself to you, set your people free. If that was all he done, it'd be enough. But she stayed with you and me, and so Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Let's go.
Shema, Shema, Shalom, Shalom, especially Shabbat Shalom to everyone out there. Thank you so much for joining our Erev Shabbat service this evening from Temple Beth Israel in beautiful yet hot Pomona, California. Hot, hot, hot. Getting hotter too, but glad you're here. Glad we could celebrate Shabbat together. And Shalom, Rabbi Kupitz.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So wonderful to be with all of you and to celebrate this evening. I encourage you to wish us and each other Shabbat Shalom in the Facebook chat so that we know that you are with us. I see some people have started to do that already, and that is terrific. We are, I hope you're staying somewhat cool there, and yet you still feel the warmth of Shabbat. We're going to start with a little nigun, a little melody to warm up our Shabbat spirit.
I diddy die, diddy die, 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 I diddy die, diddy die, diddy die, diddy die, 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 I diddy die, diddy die, I die, 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 I die, 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 I diddy die, diddy die, I die, die, die. I
Yes, I diddy die, everybody. It's great to diddy die with you. We are going to continue. I'm going to share my prayer book with Lechu Niranana. If you have a book at home, you will find it on page 12.
Lechu Niranana Adonai Naria Letzor Yishenu Nikadma Fanav Betoda Bezmirod Narialo. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishen, mikadma fana betoda. Naria, naria, letzori shenu, bizmirot narialo. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechuneranena, lechuneranena, bizmirot narialo.
As we turn toward blessing our Shabbat candles, first I share this reading and then we will join in the blessing together. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat.
As we move into Lachadodi and continue welcoming the Shabbat, before we join in singing together, apart and together, as we do on Zoom, first we take a moment to reflect on the week that has passed, to go back to last Shabbat, and then to spend a moment on each day reflecting on its challenges and on its blessings. And after we have a little bit of time to reflect, we'll join back on page 20 for Lachadodi. Take a deep breath. Shabbat renews the soul. Each breath is a breath of life, a breath of spirit. We join in singing Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla, Shamor v'zachor midibur echad, Yishmianu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, L'shem ultiferet v'litchila, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, ki hi mekor habracha, ve'rosh mikedem nisucha, sof ma'aseh v'nakshva techila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla, hitoreri, kiva orech kumi ori, Uri, Shir Daberi, Kevod Adonai alayich nigla, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla.
You can rise and face the entrance to your home as we welcome the Shabbat presence into our hearts and into our homes.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uv'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla.
Going to continue with Chatzi Kaddish. If you have a book at home, we are on page 26.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei V'chai echon u'yom echon U'chayed echon ben Yisrael Bagala, bagala U'vizman kariv V'yimeru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mivarach Le'elam u'lan me'al mayach Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishabach V'yitpa'ar v'yiromam v'yitnaseh V'yithadar v'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei dekudesha Berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ve'alma v'yimeru
Amen. We continue with Baruch Hu, our call to prayer on page 28.
Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai dai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu at Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai.
Continue with the last three lines in the Hebrew on page 30.
El Chai v'kayam Tamid lo chaleinu le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
Hamariv Haravi.
Amen. Wisdom and wonder, passion and symbol, story, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. The more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Atasir mimenu leolamim Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
Amariv Olam Amo Yisrael.
Amen. Before we go into Shema Yisrael, I'm going to share a short teaching with you. Just want us to think a little bit differently what comes to our minds. I've shared some of these things in the past. It's been a long time, but I wanted to share a couple of ideas with you about Shema, and then I'll have another teaching a little later in the service in our normal Sermon Devar Torah spot. We have two lines in at the very beginning of Shema Yisrael. We have Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Eternal is our God, the Eternal is one. And then we have Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. But in Torah itself, in the text, what we read is Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And then the next word is Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. So that second line, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed, does not appear in the Shema Ve'ahavta text as it's found in the Torah. And so the rabbis, of course, have all sorts of reasons that it becomes part of our liturgy. So I'd like to share a few thoughts and how each of those thoughts may give us a different framing for how we can relate to this idea of Shema Yisrael. So the first is connected to one of our holidays that's coming up, that on Yom Kippur, the high priest would go into the Holy of Holies in the Temple of Jerusalem. And in that space, he would say the words of Shema. He would pronounce God's name, which we don't know how to pronounce according to tradition, but the high priest would pronounce God's name. And all the Jews out in the courtyard would bow themselves down and say, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. And so that line then got connected with the Shema line before. Some say that the line Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed, that line was carried into our Siddur from the angels on high, who use that as words of praise for God. I'd like us to think in that context, listen, Israel. It's talking to us, Shema Yisrael. Hey, you, listen up. What is it that we need to hear? What are some of the messages that we need to open our minds and our hearts to, that we can respond Baruch Shem Kavod, that we can respond by increasing the glory and honor of God in the world? A second idea, another idea, is the story of Jacob. Many of you know that Jacob's name, when he wrestles with the Ish, the man in the Torah, who the rabbis rewrite as an angel, when Jacob wrestles with this angel in the Torah, his name is changed from Jacob to Israel. And so there's an idea here that when we say that Shema Yisrael is also listen, Israel, Jacob, and that Jacob is the only patriarch that we really have, well, the first patriarch we have that has a deathbed scene, right? All his children, 12 sons, his daughter, they circle around his bed, and he speaks to each of them. And one of the midrashim on this says that he was very concerned that everything he had worked for would end with him, that this tradition, this relationship with God, that all of it would end with him, that there'd be no, what today we would call Jewish continuity, right? That it would all end there. And that his children say to him, Shema Yisrael, listen, Dad, Adonai Eloheinu, that God of yours is our God, Adonai Echad, God is one. And with that, Jacob's last words that he speaks are Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed, that I know that God's glorious majesty, God's glorious name will go on forever and ever. And so I like to think of both of those, one as being addressed to us. Listen, Israel, what is it that we need to hear? What are some of the message we need to receive? Let it penetrate into our hearts. What ways are we keeping holiness out of our lives? And also, what ways can we acknowledge those who have given us so much? Listen, Dad. Listen, a teacher in our lives. Listen, whoever it is. All those things that you have taught me, those deep values that have been important to me, I acknowledge how important you have been in my life. And so as we go to think about Shema Yisrael, What is it that we've been grateful for that's being bequeathed to us? And what is it that we need to hear? Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You were muted, Rabbi.
Oh, I'm sorry. We continue with Ve'ahavta.
Thank you. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtabtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'azitem et kol mitzvotai v'item geroshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher otzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet.
Amet. Continue with Micha Mocha, our song of freedom and redemption, page 40.
Mi chamocha, Hailim Adonai, mi chamocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Norati Lot, Osei Feleh. Mi chamocha, Hailim Adonai, mi chamocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Norati Lot, Osei Feleh. Malchutcha uvanecha Volkei yam livnei Moshe uMiriam Ze Eli anu Ve'amru Adonai Yimloch le'olam va'ed Mi chamocha Bailim Adonai mi kamocha Nedar bakodesh Norati lot Osei Feleh Norati lot Osei Feleh Nora tehilot osei felon. V'na'emar ki padad Adonai et Yaakov ugalo me'ad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
Gal Yisrael.
Amen. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth, prepare for us as we return, spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Start on the top line. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu leShalom. Now you notice we replace the second word with the word Yah, one of the more, if not the most, ancient name of what we refer to usually as God. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu leShalom. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu leShalom. Third line. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu leShalom. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu leShalom. Baruch atah Adonai Haporei sukat shalom aleinu, sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
We continue giving thanks for the Shabbat, for the pause it gives us in our week, the time to reflect and to connect. Join in singing Vishamru.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lason et HaShabbat Lidorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam Oti leolam Oti leolam Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasod et HaShabbat Lidorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim Asa Adonai Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat laso et hashabat lidorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat laso et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam.
We continue with our Amidah, beginning with asking God to open our mouths and our hearts so that words of praise can come forth. We do the first couple of blessings after that to the first three blessings after that together, and have some silent prayer and some musical offering by Dr. Randy Paul.
Oh, Shah, oh, Shah, oh, Shah, oh, Shah, Adonai, Sephatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid, Tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem L'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Hoser u'Mashiach u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia Morid atah Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed V'chayei hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim v'rofech cholim Umatir asurim Umkayem emunato Lishenei afar Micha mocha ba'al gevurot Umido melach Melech memir umchayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol.
Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
Ha'el HaKadosh.
Amen.
Please take a few moments for silent prayer for the text of your own heart. And then once you've had a little time to reflect, Dr. Randy Polivoy will play. But after you've had some time to reflect, I'll ask you to chat in the box something that you can do to bring more blessing into the world. It's going to be useful for my words in a few minutes, but something that you can do, maybe especially during this time of COVID, in your daily life to bring more blessing into the world. We take some time for silent prayer.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, Randy.
Shalom, Rabbi. It's very hot out, and while it wasn't deliberately my choice, I picked a piece that happened to relate to that theme on a tangential level. It's a piece by Robert Schumann called Evening, and I hope that it conjures up images of cool breezes, just coolness all around on this very, very sweltering evening. This is Evening by Robert Schumann.
Thank you, Randy. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hope you're not too hot out there. I want to. So our Torah portion opens. It's called Re'eh, see, behold, see. I set before you today bracha v'klala, a blessing and curse, says the Torah. It is our choice, God tells us. Each and every moment in our lives is an opportunity to make a choice, to do what is good and what is right, a chance to multiply blessings or curses in the world. What can each of us do today to increase blessing in the world? I'm going to share a few of the things that were shared here: to be more loving and kind, forgive those who have wronged us, help our neighbor, give food to those in need, and the need is greater now than it has been even in a long time. Help our neighbors and family, check in with neighbors, deliver challahs. That's something that's been nice to do. Help somebody in need, refrain from judging others who might think differently. Try to call a couple of people each day, make sure that they're doing okay. Connect with family and friends. Write postcards to help get out the vote. Write letters to older folks who don't Zoom or email. So lots of different opportunities of things that we can do to increase blessing in the world. All the choices that we make affect us and affect others. They affect our family and our friends and our community. They affect people we know, and they even affect people we don't know. God commands us in this Torah portion, lo titgodalu, do not make gashes in our skin. Now, perhaps in its original context, that's exactly what it meant. Don't deface our bodies. But the sages build upon this elsewhere in commentary, and they teach us that this refers not only to the flesh of our skin, but to the fabric of our community. Don't separate yourself into factions. Don't face off one group against another. Jewish tradition teaches us, Kol Yisrael Aravim Zeh B'Zeh, all of us are responsible one for another. The choice to take care of ourselves and others right now is what Judaism calls us to do by doing acts of kindness, by supporting local businesses, by wearing masks, by washing our hands, by physically distancing, by any of the things that you mentioned. We show that we care about those around us. We do know that COVID is a serious risk to our lives, to our health, to our economic well-being. Some complain about some of the precautions that we have to take, whether it's distancing or mask, as impinging on their rights. I would say that Judaism, however, would focus more on responsibilities than on rights. Judaism is less concerned about what I'm allowed to do for myself and more concerned about what are our responsibilities toward others. And because we're obligated to take care of ourselves and others, to protect the most vulnerable around us, the tradition talks often about the orphan, the widow, the stranger, those who don't have others to stand up for them, those who do not have a voice. We need to do all we can to support one another and to choose a path of blessing. See, today, as the Torah portion says, I set before you blessing and curse. What I would say is that no matter what's going on in the world, the blessings or curses that we don't have control over, each day when we wake up, each moment when we act, we have an opportunity to increase that blessing in the world through our actions. And so I set before you blessing and curse. Let us choose blessing. Let us choose kindness. Let us choose love. Let us choose support. Let us choose generosity for ourselves, for our community, for our parents, and for our children. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to move now into our prayer for healing, of which both so many individuals and, of course, our world are so deeply in need of. I'm going to share my screen, at least for the Hebrew words.
O Holy One, who blessed our mothers, who blessed our fathers from ancient days, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yamale Rachamim Alehem, Lehaksikam Urabeotam, Veishlach Lahem Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, V'tok Sha'ar Cholei Yisrael. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their name.
As I offer names that have been listed by those in our community, please feel free to list names you'd like to share in our chat as well. Rebecca Gilman, Bela Pasternak, Hannah Fields Austin, Aaron Goichenberg, Sue Toback, Alicia Goldfarb, Paula Steinbach, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Gabrielle Silton, Pam Poliakoff, Connie Shapiro, Kathy Blumenfeld, Gloria Austin, Caitlin Antrim, Judith Bosworth, Kathy Brewster, Doug Austin, David Bush, Stephanie Holland, Mark Goldberg, Maureen Fenton, Jennifer Rudin, Susan Gruer, Charity Razade, James Stead, Ed Ansell, Marion Snyders, Kimberly Zimmerman, Judith Schweitzer, Lori Snyder, Gail Gant, Brad Holland, Isley Holland, Jacob McNaughton, Bernie Karmatz, Mike Klein, Michelle Raphael, Beatrice Caden, John Kerr, Meg Silton, Ken Mitchell, Linda Jones, Allison Auerbach, Ramon Diaz, Henry Gerard, Kirby Perkins, Brenda Foung Gerard, Serena Postal, Laura Morse, Bear Hartman, John Hodges, Jennifer Ambrose, and Gabe Ambrose.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Himalay Rachamim Alehem. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
Well, it is we are 1 week from the beginning of the month of Elul, which means we're 1 week and 1 Hebrew month away from Rosh Hashanah. So send back those renewals if you haven't yet, so that you can get all of our links for the High Holy Days. And we are going to offer a blessing now for the new month.
Yehi רצון מלפניך, יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו, אלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, שתחדש עלינו את החודש הבא לטובה ולברכה. ותיתן לנו חיים ארוכים, חיים של שלום, חיים של פרנסה, חיים שתהבנו אהבת תורה, ויראת שמיים חיים, שימלאו משאלות ליבנו לטובה.
Amen. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, and prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good.
ראש חודש אלול, ראש חודש אלול, יהיה ביום השישי.
The new month of Elul will begin on Friday. Now,
Rabbi, I want to just congratulate you. You did not show 1 ounce of concern or panic show in your eyes or sweat on your brow that it's only 1 month before High Holy Day.
I feel it in my heart. I just I'm trying. I'm going to invite now Janine Mann, who's on here with us this evening, to share some announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi, and thank you so much for the many blessings you bring to our community. We are so lucky to have you. Thank you, Cantor, for the beautiful service, and thank you to Dr. Randy Polivoy for the amazing music. There are a number of announcements tonight, and I'm going to echo the rabbi's words regarding the high holidays and our membership forms. If you have not yet completed those forms and returned them to the office, please do so. Instead of tickets this year, you will be getting a electronic link to our high holiday services, but you must turn in those registration forms ahead of time. And thank you in advance. A number of announcements include our award-winning, amazing TBI preschool. We are looking for young families who are looking for excellent and safe preschool and daycare. Please send them our way. We are planning to open the preschool on August 31st, which is coming very fast. And we are so excited and looking forward to having a number of children joining our program. Please also help honor Cindy Lang, who is one of our beloved TBI preschool teachers. Cindy recently retired after 25 years being with our preschool. In order to help alleviate the financial burden on the preschool and TBI caused by COVID restrictions and regulations, we are inviting you to contribute to the Teacher Cindy Legacy campaign. You may visit our website or social media for more information or contact the front office. Our amazing Beit Sefer is set to open with new innovative programs on September 13th. We are interviewing candidates for an interim director position this Monday and Tuesday. Our staff is excited about the new online curricula that we will be using called Shalom Learning, and we know students and parents will be engaged with it as well. Beit Sefer families, please be sure to submit your registration and TBI renewals so that we are including you in all of the communications starting to lead up to Beit Sefer on September 13th. Please join Rabbi Kubitz and congregant Sarah Truitt in a conversation about your experiences living through this pandemic. COVID-19, Finding Your Way, Mondays, August 17th and 31st at 7:30. There is a limited attendance, so please contact the office for your reservation. Our dramatic reading group concludes this Tuesday, August 18th at 7 p.m. The first two sessions were engaging and meaningful. Reading Kindertransport aloud and discussing it was a good experience. You can sign on and listen and enjoy. Gary Gilbert's excellent series, Israel Bookshelf, continues on Wednesday night at 7:15 with Theodore Herzl by Derek Penzlar. Hear Gary with special guest Tammy Snyder present the book with plenty of time for congregant questions and comments. This will happen on Wednesday night, August 26th. For more details about these events, please check your TBI update and our website. We look forward to engaging you in these programs, and we look forward to seeing you soon online and hopefully in person. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Janine, thank you so much. And Cantor Paul, do you have any announcements you'd like to add?
Nothing specific. I just wanted to also give a little heads up that beginning the last week of August and into the first 2 weeks of September on Tuesday night, Rabbi and I will be presenting a new tools for Eluls when you're not going to be in the shuls, and or something like that. The title evolves as we think more about it, but we invite you to join us here on Zoom for that. As far as I know, it will be on our regular Adult Jewish Learning links. And other than that, I look forward to working with our preschool kids again next Tuesday and Thursday mornings. And
I would just add, you started Shabbat with us tonight. You can end Shabbat with us tomorrow night at 7:30. The link is in your TBI email that you got yesterday. It's the Zoom Siyum link. It's always lovely to just spend 15 minutes or so together to say goodbye to Shabbat and reconnect with community on the other side for Motzei Shabbat. So love to have you join us then. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody who's wishing us and each other Shabbat Shalom in the chat. I'm not able to personally wish you each individually Shabbat Shalom right now, but we're thrilled that you've been with us. We're going to move toward the end of our service. I'm going to put the Siddur back up for Aleinu L'Shabeach. Got to get to the page here, so give me 1 second, Cantor Paul. All right, Aleinu L'Shabeach. If you have a book at home, it's in the middle of the page.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצו, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. Remember the recent death of William George Vole, father of Jennifer Blas. We remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Abraham Elliott Bell, Kurt Berlin, Celia Strausman, Abraham Holtz, Penny Catcham, Sally Kay, Bertie Levine, Nina Morse, Barry Moschel, Drew Satin, Margaret Siegel, Lewis Stewart, Norman Stone, Ewald Levi Cohen, Lucy Goldberg, Alice Heyman, Joel Ray Kramer, Rebecca Marcus, Francis Mendelson, Earl Silden, Milton Blumenfeld, Sandra Hirsch, Laura Litton, Baba Osipov, Beverly Payan, Serena Schoenfeld, Ida Block, Bernard Shane Karmatz, Darla Miller, Ruben Schaefer, N.N. Schreiber, Laura Sokol, Nancy Frida Cooperman, Belle Lipset, Ruben Rochester, Abraham Blumenfeld, Rose Garber, Sarah Harbour, Mel Kagan, Rendell Doc Livonian, Aaron Liebschard, Norman Rubin, and Frida Strasberg. Again, if you're remembering people, feel free to share their names in the chat with the others who are here. And I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll join in the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayachon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dukudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'miram bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. We will conclude with Yado.
Beyado of Kiruchi, Ve'ishan ve'a'ira, Ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira, Ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Ve'ado av kiduchi, ve'rishan ve'a'ira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira.
Grab your Kiddush cup if you have one at home, and a little wine or grape juice, and you can join us in sanctifying the Sabbath day with Kiddush. I'm stalling for Cantor. Here we go. He's getting his cup. He is coming back to the microphone. All right, here he is. Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrayei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu vacharta, veotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, v'kadesh HaShabbat. Chaim.
L'chaim. And a little challah. Little challah. This one's chocolate chip. It was very yummy. We made it here today. And Kent is getting his. He's coming. Here he comes.
I got the whole loaf here. Everybody together, reach out, touch my Allah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'te'avon, or Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hope to see you all soon. Lihitraot.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you, Janine.